most people who are fans of Battlefront 1 and 2 on PS2, Xbox, um, we were always waiting for Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Yeah.
There were always rumors about it, kind of floating in development, and it never really going anywhere. But everyone knew that it was being made. And I believe the name of the company that was making it at the time was Free Radical,
Hmm.
I think. And it's interesting because the game apparently was pretty close to being complete. So much so that um, a new an indie developer named Frontwire Studios um, basically took Battlefront 3 elements, the Star Wars vehicles, characters, and planets, and they're going to provide it as a free game on Steam. And it's going to be called Galaxy and Turmoil. It's not going to have the Star Wars name on it at all. Um, and they've apparently said that they've been wanting to do this for a while, but I guess now that they feel comfortable about it, there's a quote from looks like Tony Romanelli, who is the Frontwire president. He said, "Our council has advised us that we currently fall into three of the major defenses for fair use claims. Due to the nature of the campaign we are developing, we can be classed as a parody. We're reimagining a lot of what Star Wars is as well by creating everything from the ground up. In addition, we're actually using this as a tool for educational purposes."
Hmm.
Um, and then they've also reached out to this article, by the way, is found on Game Sutra. Someone named Morrison.
Do they have any information of what they mean by educational purposes?
Not in this article, but Ryan Morrison, who's actually a video game attorney. That sounds like a somewhat fun job,
I don't know. It could be fun.
maybe.
Anything
Um,
attorney doesn't sound enjoyable to me, unless if you just like people yelling and arguing all day.
right. And granted, he's not representing Disney or anything like that. He's just giving his opinion on it. But he's
Yeah.
quoted here as saying, "It doesn't take more than a 5-second Google search to see this game has nothing to do with parody law. And if you further examine fair use, you'll see it as a defense, not a right. Not charging for your product is a factor in fair use, but not the end-all be-all. You can't just remake a game start to finish, utilizing every asset of the original, and pretend it's okay because it's free. After so many games have been taken down over similar circumstances, and after so many developers' lives have been ruined from this, it's just the definition of insanity at this point."
Dumb Starbucks.
Huh?
Dumb Starbucks.
Dumb Starbucks.
Yep. Dumb Starbucks used the Starbucks logo. They used the
Oh,
Starbucks design. Everything looked and ran exactly like a Starbucks, but they were not selling coffee. They were selling art because of parody laws. They got away with it, and the only thing that shut them down was the FDA because they didn't meet health scores because, it was just some dumb Starbucks. But
that also reminds me of the clothing brand, the North Face.
yeah.
There was another brand of clothing called the South Butt,
That's pretty good.
but they actually
Yeah.
got them to close down. Like North Face
Mhm.
sued them and closed them down. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, why take the risk? Why risk the future of your development studio by taking on, of all people, Disney? We're talking about.
Yeah, Disney is kind of a rough call, but at the same time, I understand you put in all this work into something, and who's going to use it? Like, what are they going to do with it? If they don't do anything with it, what's going to happen to all of this work?
I mean, if it were an original game and it wasn't a property
Yeah,
like Star Wars,
yeah.
I'd be like, hey, what's the harm with this? I don't know what kind of legal standing that would have, but I know from this particular case, this is not going to work out for them.
Probably not, but at the same time, like I understand.
It's
I
a nice thought.
yeah, and like if I were to do all this work on something and I was super proud and it's not going to see the light of day just because some guy, he had his phone out and he's just like, what's this? We only have enough money to complete one project, and this guy's my cousin, so I'm gonna have to, you know, gonna have to say no on this. And then bam, like your project's done.
Yeah.
And I don't see it as a bad thing personally. I don't. I can see where it's a big controversy, especially since they're continuing the trilogy and they're even adding on to side movies. Basically they're like, if the Marvel universe can do it, we can too. And so they're trying to expand the Star Wars universe right now. So I understand, but at the same time, it's like I'm all for free stuff. And I'm all for sharing art, and collaborative pieces too. And maybe if instead of just making it so that it's available to play, if they can release it for download and release it as like, a developer release so that people can edit and make changes to it and make their own variations to the game,
Hmm.
that would be awesome. And I think that's where they should go, and maybe that might even help their cause.
Yeah. I mean,
It would be educational at that point.
and the way to look at this is this is not going to stop people from purchasing the latest Battlefront.
Yeah.
It's really not. It's going to be for people who they were looking forward to this build of the game, which was being built for the Xbox 360 as the
Yeah.
target system. So it's just knowing Disney's past. If Lucas still owned the rights, there's a good chance he'd probably say like whatever.
Yeah.
But since it is Disney and they'll sue a preschool over
Yeah.
drawing Disney characters on the side of a building, they're not going to let this sit.
Yeah. That's sad. But what would be funny is if this game is so much better. And people play the new Battlefront, they're just like, I don't know why you guys did this.
There's a chance of that.
Why is cool spot here? Seems terrible.